Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I, as always, am Grestar, and this is another reaction to a death battle, Goku Black versus Reverse Flash. So of course, make sure to click on the link in the description below to go to the official release first. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Watch that there, then come back here and we'll watch it together. So, Goku Black from Dragon Ball Super and Reverse Flash from The Flash in, I am sure, various different iterations. I don't know a lot about either of these characters. You know, recently I say recently, like it's actually been over a year probably. No, about a year since I last watched any Dragon Ball Z, but I'm still just in the Cell saga. I'm in the middle of that. He just went Perfect Cell kind of thing. And as for Flash, like what I know about Flash is really limited to Death Battle actually. And I definitely am not going to remember everything that Death Battle throws at me because a lot is thrown at me. But from what I do know of these two characters, I actually feel very confident right now that Reverse Flash is going to win this one. Now, I can see, like, why you would have these two go up against each other, and I've heard from the comments that this is a really good death battle, so I'm looking forward to watching it. But, you know, like, they're both, even if they're not necessarily, like, the main rivals or antagonists or whatever, because, like, I don't think I would give that to Goku Black in this case, you know? Even if not that, they're very much like they're basically like the evil counterparts, right? The case of that is, again, like Zamasu. I say again because I mentioned this at the end of the last video that I, reacted to. Zamasu wished to have Goku's body. Blam, Goku Black. And then Reverse Flash. It's in the name. It's Flash, but reverse. So it makes sense to me, is what I'm saying, that they're pitted against each other. But yeah, from what I know of the two characters, Reverse Flash, like, if he is anything like, Wally West, right? Then, I mean, I don't know if Reverse Flash is, like, really only a Barry Allen kind of Flash antagonist, or if he applies to just any Flash, but either way, if he's anything like Wally West, he's just absolutely ridiculous to the point of, like, kind of incomprehensibility, right? And, Goku Black, I'm sure, is incredibly strong because he's going up against Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, Goku and Vegeta, right? But he's not like, I am faster than time good. You know what I mean? Like, I know really nothing about Reverse Flash's, like, durability or strength or whatnot. But if he's fighting against things that are moving faster than time, sort of deal, right? Like, faster than speed, which, how does that make sense? It doesn't, but let's go with it. Then that means that I would think he's taking blows that are incalculable, and likewise dishing out blows that are incalculable, you know? And so as amazing and, like, powerful as, like, everything in Dragon Ball is, because the escalation in that series is just kind of insane, right? And as, powerful as I'm sure Goku Black himself is, like, even if we are going to say that Reverse Flash is, like, super weak, Goku Black, could he ever hit him? Even if he just did, like, a big area of effect burst kind of thing, I'm pretty sure Reverse Flash could just bugger out of there, So, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've fallen into this trap before where I've been confident about something, and I've just let that guide me. Like, I'm gonna try to pay attention to the analyses for these two characters. I'm gonna try to, like, rule it properly in my prediction. Who, by the way, I'm not sponsored. I just like this shirt and I wanted to wear it. I mean, I was sponsored, but I'm not in this video. I genuinely like this shirt. I'm so tired. Point is, let's get to watching. Because you can tell me Goku Black is fast, but is he faster than the Flash? Surely not.
Stealing arbiter of divine justice.
And the Reverse Flash, DC's psychopathic speedster fanboy.
Yeah,
They say
fanboy
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
But I'd say the sincerest form of flattery is not trying to kill your superhero husbando. He's whizzed.
Well, I guess I didn't know that about Reverse Flash. Like, the fanboyness makes sense for Goku Black because I want Goku's body, But I didn't know that I thought Reverse Flash came first, basically.
What consumes the thoughts
But I guess maybe
of a
not the
god?
name,
What do immortals dream of with all the time in the world? In Zamasu's case, his one goal was divine justice.
Yeah.
This guy's got major Final Fantasy big bad energy all over it.
As the assistant to Universe 10's Supreme Kai, Zamasu prized, above all else, cosmic order and natural.
I didn't know he was
Ooh,
under
that
the
reminds
Supreme
me.
Kai.
Did you know I can burp and fart at the same time? Here, let me try.
No, not that order.
Unsurprisingly, Zamasu despised the inherently chaotic nature of mortals,
Yeah.
being seemingly unwilling to lift themselves out of their own cycle of violence and stupidity, like some people I know.
Yeah, I know those people too. His heart was clouded. Until the day he met Son Goku.
With God Ki, Goku could match blows with the god of destruction, Beerus. Their clash nearly destroyed the entirety of Universe 7,
Right.
a cosmological structure at least 9 times larger than our own
Beerus
universe.
wasn't even going
At
full
most,
power.
It could even be as large as 13 times greater than ours. Side note, it's worth mentioning that when 2 gods of destruction fought, they were capable of casually destroying 2 of these universes.
And since the
Oh.
shockwaves from their punches traveled across Universe 7 in seconds, they'd have to be hitting way faster than light.
Goku was tapping into his Super Saiyan God form for this, though clearly not at its full strength.
Right.
While the exact multiplier for Super Saiyan Blue is unknown, Toriyama himself has directly compared it to the original Super Saiyan form.
And don't forget,
Okay.
Goku trained with Whis and fought in the tournament with Universe 6 before Zamasu caught up with him. So by that time, he was way stronger.
Right,
Here
yeah.
was a
The power
mortal
scaling
with
again,
powers
it's
of
insane.
gods beyond even Zamasu's abilities. Someone who could bring his dreams to fruition.
So Sammy did what anyone would do in that situation. Kill his master to become the Supreme Kai, wish on the Super Dragon Balls to switch bodies with Goku, and kill every single mortal in the universe.
Thus,
Yay.
the deity Zamasu became Goku Black.
Please, Goku Black? You couldn't be more creative?
Now, you might be wondering, why didn't he just wish all the mortals dead? But that wouldn't be as fun, would it? Black's got all of Goku's strength and powers, but
I don't know, the
wielded by a
Dragon Balls always have
genocidal maniac
weird
instead of
rules
that
and
lovable
limitations.
goober of a monkey man.
And in
Yeah.
keeping with Goku's Saiyan heritage and godly ki, Black can easily achieve the form of Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
But it becomes
with a
Rosé.
shameful twist.
Yeah,
Super Saiyan Rose.
that's right.
Rosé, really?
See,
What
I
is
know
this,
some
suburban
things.
wine, Mom? Watch out before he unlocks Super Saiyan Live, Laugh, Love. He stole Goku's techniques too, like the instant transmission, where he focuses on a person's key signature to teleport to their location. He's even got the Black Kamehameha, which is a Kamehameha, but pink.
And
Not
with
black.
his Saiyan body, he gets stronger and stronger every time he almost dies.
Right.
He just becomes harder and harder to kill.
Which really sucks for the rest of the universe, because Black is kind of like if Goku just snapped one day and used his powers to their full murderous
I mean, that makes
potential.
sense, yeah.
Like the God Split Cut, where he surrounds his hands with a keyblade to slice you to ribbons. He used this very technique to, kill Goku's family.
He can even
Oh.
extend this Keyblade
Oh,
into
dear.
a huge curved one called the Azure Dragon Sword, which, along with his Kamehameha, confirms my suspicions that Goku is colorblind.
Actually, Black's Azure Dragon Sword is named after a legendary weapon wielded by one of Earth's greatest warriors, the Desert Bandit Yamcha.
Really?
Wait, what?
And he can make a scythe and slice open space-time itself.
Yeah, I
to create a bunch of
recognize that
shadow
little
blows.
bit of animation.
Black, not
I saw the
creative
original
warrior,
Dragon
but
Ball.
His most dastardly weapon isn't a key technique at all. It's the time ring he got from his dead master.
This ring allowed Black to travel through time and even escape into Future Trunks' alternate timeline, where he had free reign over the entire
So not just
universe.
time, but
And let him
dimensions as
team
well?
up with his best bud, himself.
Which I guess-
Goku and
I guess that
Goku
makes sense
showed
as
up
how
to
they
spoil
met.
the fun. But wait, isn't Zamasu in Goku's body? How are there 2 Gokus? There's only one Goku in the multiverse, right? But Goku met Black before he met Zamasu, which means Black existed before Zamasu came up with the idea. And then they killed Zamasu before he could do it.
I didn't know there
anyway.
was only one
But
Goku in the
Black was
multiverse.
still around? What the hell is going on?
I had assumed it was a different
Sure, it's
universe.
classic grandfather's
Universe's
paradox.
Goku.
The thing is, Black's time ring prevents him from being affected by alterations to his own personal timeline. So, killing him in the past doesn't change his future, and vice versa.
Okay.
He's almost impossible to kill because even if you do it at one point in time, he still exists at another point in time. And another. And another.
Really?
And another. Another.
Oh god, I hate time travel.
I don't know
Black
how
is
that
Super
works.
Saiyans like Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. Hell, even Vegito couldn't beat him. He even merged with the universe.
blue
to become
Vegito,
one
too.
With everything. Like I said, major Final Fantasy villain vibes here.
It took Zeno, the Omni King, the most powerful being in all of creation, to step in and
For
erase
now.
that entire timeline just to stop
Most powerful
Black's
being for
rampage.
now.
How ironic. Zamasu's higher calling was the eradication of all mortal life in the universe, and he stole the strongest mortal's body to do it. But in the end, he was always doomed to fail.
Rip.
His quest for power meant nothing against a being that would always be stronger no matter what he did or who he was.
And the universe ended up being destroyed anyway. It's
Aw.
like one big cosmic joke with no one left to laugh.
You've been running around making messes for too long, and now I'm going
That's
to choke
the
life
end
out
of his
I can't wait to watch
analysis? Weird. What a weird way to
There we
end
have
that
it.
one.
The Flash
Ah!
is one of the greatest heroes in history.
That's a different
It's
Flash.
Inspiration to many across time and space. And there's no better example than his #1 fan from the 25th century, Eobard Thawne.
All right,
Oh.
Liz, we've tackled a lot of stupid names for things in our years here at
You know,
Death
I
Battle. But I'm
feel like I
confident
vaguely
that
remember
Eobard
that
is
from-
the dumbest f***ing first name
from the,
I've ever heard in my life.
that one show.
Eobard
WB
was
show? I don't know what it
completely
was.
obsessed with the Flash and dedicated his whole life to studying the Speed Force like a total nerd.
Wow.
Good luck to him, because there's no way he's figuring that shit out.
But Thawne's life irrevocably changed the day he discovered a time capsule from the 21st century.
Wow.
By some strange coincidence, it just so happened to contain Barry's costume.
Really?
By experimenting on it, Thawne managed to replicate the Flash's powers, turning himself into a mirror of his idol.
And you can
Well,
bet
I mean,
he
good for
totally
him.
crapped himself when Barry Senpai showed up in the future and took him under his wing.
His
It was a
eyes,
dream
no.
come true.
No.
Until Barry realized that Thawne had fabricated crimes in order to show up and save the day.
Ah.
Disgraced, Thawne promised to better himself before traveling to the past to prove his worth to his hero, to prove that their bond was special.
No, I do not like his
Thawne found out
eyes.
that Barry already had a best friend, and a family, and a life. Without him, he didn't matter. He wasn't special. He was just a nobody Barry tossed out in the trash and forgot about. Like my Tinder dates do to me.
If only. When Thawne visited the Flash Museum in Barry's time, he discovered the secret identity to Flash's greatest enemy that in his future had been lost to time. The one Barry was fated to kill in battle. Eobard Thawne. Wait a minute.
Oh, ain't that a bitch? The shock drove Thawne mad. If he couldn't be Flash's best friend, he'd be his greatest enemy.
All right.
I guess also ensure his own
Fair
future
enough.
death.
He would travel from the future to terrorize the Flash family in the past. Revenge in reverse. He'd become the Reverse Flash.
I see.
Reverse Flash. We're really setting the world on fire with these names today, huh, Wiz?
Thawne draws his powers from the negative Speed Force, which he
What?
generates with every step he takes, just like Barry does with the regular Speed Force. The negative Speed Force gives Thawne access to many of the Flash's powers,
Okay, yeah.
including his mind-bending super speed, enough to travel all across time and space in days. He can keep up with and surpass other speedsters like Barry and Wally.
Who once ran fast enough to cross the universe faster than two gods who
Yeah,
could
they said
teleport. Wally
Barry
even
and
beat
Wally.
himself in a race, and Barry admitted Thawne was still faster than that. Wait just a second, he beat himself? That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't
Unlike
make
Barry and
sense.
Wally, Thawne applies his powers more catastrophically, using them to their full potential without any care for collateral. Take, for instance, his ability to vibrate himself through solid objects.
Objects like, say, vital organs. And if
Ooh.
he did, he'd scramble their molecules, causing instant death. Thawne did just that to Barry's wife, Iris, and
Oof.
Barry did not appreciate it.
Well,
Thawne's
yeah.
vibrations are so powerful, he can even produce a counterforce that can reverse the destruction of the entire universe.
Pretty crazy
Okay.
sounding, but even B-tier speedsters like Jenny Ognats can do the same kind of thing. And when Barry and Wally raced each other, they were tearing up the entire multiverse.
Thawne can create shockwaves with a snap, phase into your body and possess you, and even speak at such high speeds that you'll hear his words as though they were your own thoughts. And instead of stealing your speed like other Flashes, he can steal your time.
Yeah,
Oh.
Thawne can yoink decades from your life and age you 80 years in just a few seconds. Kinda sounds like your sex life, huh?
Interesting.
Ah.
But Thawne's greatest ability is his unmatched skill at time travel, and he uses this expertise to be as petty and cruel as humanly possible.
Thawne wasn't a dummy. He knew that if he went back in time to kill Barry before he got his powers, he'd erase himself from the time stream too. So instead, he'd just make Barry's life suck as hard as he could, push him down some stairs, retcon his best friend from history, kill his mom. He even told Barry he'd go back in time and adopt him as his own son.
Oh,
Dude, what the
no.
That's another big difference between Thawne and Barry. Whereas Barry only went back in time to save his mother's life, Thawne often went back in time to try to fix his own mediocre life.
Aw.
He killed his more successful younger brother, his career rival at the Flash Museum, and every single boyfriend his crush had until there was no one left but him.
And when she still rejected him, he went back in time again and made her an invalid for the rest of her life.
Aw.
Jesus Christ! This guy's a monster.
Yes, he is.
But wait, Wiz, that's impossible. Grandpappy Paradox or whatever. If he went back in time to kill someone, they'd be dead in the future, which means...
Which means he'd never know them and want to go back in time in the first place, right?
Wiz, maybe time is a construct with no legitimate unit of measurement other than the meager attempts man has made to understand the incomprehensible world around him.
Well, actually, Thawne was just inside the time stream when Barry initiated Flashpoint, which rewrote the universe while Thawne was technically disconnected from it. So, Thawne essentially broke. Literally, figuratively, mentally, physically, temporally.
Or maybe he just hated Barry so much he defied the laws of time itself.
That must be it.
Whoa.
More specifically,
Okay.
he became a living paradox, a being without a past or future, literally without continuity. Not only did this mean he'd be unaffected by changes to his past, it made him effectively immortal.
Stabbed in the chest by evil Batman, vaporized by Iris in some sweet, sweet payback, or getting Dr. Manhattaned by the big blue god dong himself. Thawne was always reborn, unable to stay dead.
But more than anything, it made him immune from consequences.
Unlike Barry,
Oh.
whose changes to time could destroy all of reality, Thawne could do whatever he wanted.
Right,
It was impossible
okay.
to stop with
I
no
see. I
reason
see what
to
they
hold
mean
back.
by
He
the consequence.
survived a hit from Barry while he had the entire Speed Force absorbed into him, and even Wally's infinite mass punch, which has the mass of a white dwarf star. A white dwarf is essentially the remains of a star's ultra-dense core, which has
I
a
would
mass
think
of
it would
over
be
2
more than that,
octillion
even.
tons.
And he took one of those to the noggin and just took a nap. Man, he must really hate Barry if a sun to the face can't take him down.
But he doesn't hate Barry. All of his schemes, all of his machinations, all of his insane timeline-shattering threats, all of it was because it was the only way he could think of to spend time with his
Notice me,
hero.
senpai.
Really sad.
His costume says it all. He never intended to be the Reverse Flash. He wanted to be the Kid Flash. All Thawne ever really desired was to be by Barry's side.
In the end, though, goody little Two Shoes Barry forgave him, and then vibrated away his living paradox powers, erasing him from existence.
Though not entirely. Barry didn't kill Thawne, he reset his timeline, removing the one thing driving his hatred, his relationship with Barry. Without that, Thawne was a normal, happy Flash fan once again.
It's comics, Wiz. He'll be back. And when he
Always,
does,
right?
there'll be no running. He'll always be faster. He'll always catch you. And time is always on his side.
Still think you can take me? Even death can't catch me.
Fair.
All right, the
All
buttons
right.
are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle! And pause. Yeah, my opinion hasn't changed. I think that Reverse Flash is going to win. If anything, it's been more cemented. Because the things that they gave Goku Black, which surprised me, you know, were like the whole time ring thing and how even if you killed him, like in one instance, he would still exist in another instance and in another instance and in another instance, you know, that kind of thing. But that seems like easily doable for Reverse Flash with all of his like time traveling shenanigans and his own strength and his own durability, etc., etc. Not to mention the fact that Reverse Flash himself is the whole living paradox thing, and if he dies, like he can just come back, you know? Like they did say that Barry like changed that, but that also made him like not Reverse Flash anymore. And so like since we're taking Reverse Flash at his peak, as we do for all characters in Death Battle, that's the intent, you know, then they're totally, he's still living paradox. So I do not, like, I actually right now I don't see a way for Goku Black to be able to beat Reverse Flash. It just seems so stacked in Reverse Flash's favor. With like, I mean, here's another thing, right? If what I've said so far hasn't been enough. Goku Black real strong. He blows stuff up, you know? They mentioned like the you know, Beerus and Champa just casually fighting each other. I think blew up like 2 of the 13 times our size universes, right? And you know, let's say that Goku Black is not even at that level. Let's say he's above that level. Let's say that if he's fighting at his full strength, he's gonna blow up a bunch of universes just as an aftermath. well, then you have the Barry and Wally race, and that race alone was threatening to destroy the multiverse, you know? Different thing in my opinion. Like, to me, unless I'm really misunderstanding something, that's a lot more powerful. And again, that's not them fighting, that's them racing. You know, and so if he was able to, like, take the blows and everything when Barry, I think it was Barry in this instance, you know, like, had all of the Speed Force in him, like, he was channeling that, he's pretty resilient, that silly little Reverse Flash guy. So, yeah. I don't really know what else to say. Yeah. I think that everything that, like, Goku Black has, Reverse Flash has, like, a counter to it, and then some, you know? Like, if we're talking about abilities, sure, we could say that Goku Black has more versatility, right? Because he, you know, has, like, ki in different ways that he can manifest it, you know, things like that. Yes, he is a god, you know, he comes from the race of Kai. I assume that's called it's a race, right? I mean, V Kai. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a race. But, you know, not to mention that right now, as Goku Black, he is immortal. So, Reverse Flash is going to win this one. And play. Did I miss something?
It was me, Barry. I was the one who...
That's fun, pulling that meme. But, like, did I miss something where Goku Black actually does stand more of a chance? Because it just does not seem like he does.
Mortals, sinners, prepare for divine justice!
Oh no, he's killing people! Look at all those people he killed as he's sipping tea. He's brutal.
Oops.
Just to tick him off.
Excuse me, sir. I'm in need of your services.
Oh, poor person.
Stand still and face your judgment, mortal!
Okay.
What do you think of this color? Is it not beautiful?
So full of himself. Ow, his back. Oh no! That looks cool.
Incoming genius. I'll end this fight before it even began. Death in reverse.
Magnificent!
So is this supposed to be the time stream? Because I thought it was some sort of Speed Force thing.
Sinners, prepare for divine.
Why aren't you dead?
Oh no, from the space vagina! His back! His ball.
Stand atop all things and look down upon creation itself. That is the work of a god!
Empty threats to a living paradox!
He caught him.
How truly foolish.
Sorry, was that important?
Oh no. Also, did he do the vanish?
How fun.
There we go.
You know, we've sent enough people to that sun. We really should have a timeshare.
This was a fairly tricky matchup to figure out, least of all for their incredible levels of power.
Black could destroy a universe like ours at least 660 times over. I mean, a punch at least as big as a star is really badass. But that's in another league.
However,
Yes.
there's a lot more to cover than just how many stars or universes they could blow up.
Yeah.
At their peak, both Goku Black and Reverse Flash were so impressive they were removed from time itself, becoming living paradoxes, making any attempt to kill either of them meaningless.
Stupid time travel.
It's difficult to determine who would figure out a counter to this temporal invincibility first, but it would most likely rely on a combination of speed and smarts.
As far as speed goes, it's no surprise Thawne definitely had the edge.
Right.
Yeah, Black's attacks could reach speeds quintillions of times faster than light, but Thawne is a Flash.
Even early in his career as a member of the Flash family, Wally West could reach speeds that were impossible to comprehend and calculate.
Yeah, imagine
there
that.
are numerous examples of this for multiple iterations of the Flash, many of whom Thawne was clearly equal to.
Plus, he's kind of an expert when it comes to timey-wimey bullshit.
And he could likely overpower Black and destroy said time ring too. After all, Thawne once generated enough energy to counter the destruction of the entire DC universe, which is stated in comics to be at least 100 trillion light years in diameter. That's over 1 billion times larger than our
That's
own
a
universe,
lot.
and over 70 million times larger than Dragon Ball's Universe 7.
It's sort of impossible to lock down the exact limits of Goku Black's upper strength without getting into lots of assumptions and guesswork.
Yes.
He's obviously stronger than Goku was when he clashed with Beerus, but even being super generous with training and power boosts and multipliers, the gap here is way too wide to be able to just assume Goku Black could match this level of power.
Yeah.
The DC universe is just too big. And remember, Barry and Wally's race almost ripped apart the entire DC multiverse.
It's also important to stress that Goku Black is not Goku. Goku's drive and willpower can push through even the most absurd limits to potentially match higher levels of power. Zamasu took Goku's body because he's more than willing to take shortcuts. It's an entirely different mindset.
Yeah, a little
Once
bit.
he took care of that time ring, Reverse Flash had a lot more options
So
than
smug.
just overpowering Black. With that super speed, he could pretty easily scramble Black's insides or age him to death with a touch. Zamasu may have been a deity even without the time ring, but Goku's body is mortal with a limited range of age. Might have really screwed yourself with that one, huh, Zamzam?
Goku Black was a nightmarish foe, but Thawne's experience with time travel, ridiculous levels of hacks, and frankly impossible speed gave him the means to take the win.
This fight was definitely not sunderwhelming.
The winner is the Reverse Flash.
That's Reverse Flash. What? What was this joke?
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Death
Not
Battle. If you're looking for something else to
Sunderwell.
watch, season 2
Sun?
of Black
Is that
Flash
all
is
it was? Was
available
it just a
right
joke
now
about
on
the
Rooster
sun?
Teeth. It's a show all about contestants trying to make each other laugh, but everyone trying their hardest not to. If you laugh, you're out. Watch the first episode right now by clicking the video.
Are you
on the
reading
side.
his script? Coming. It's Kool-Aid Man. And what was his name? I know his name. Randy Savage? Oh gosh, is it? That was Macho Man.
Oh no.
That's awkward. Now I need to look up who friggin' Randy Savage is. Oh, Randy Savage! Okay, better known by his ring name Macho Man. Okay, cool. I wasn't wrong. All right, but also I was right. Yay, me. So, I mean, honestly, even with their conclusion, like with the stuff they gave in the conclusion, I still didn't think that it was really a close battle. It was a little bit closer than I had thought, in the sense that I didn't realize that Goku Black's... I mean, I guess I just wasn't thinking of it as a paradox, you know? I had acknowledged that, like, you could kill him in one instance in time, he would still exist in another, and then in another, and then in another. But when you're dealing with a speedster like Reverse Flash, who his whole thing is, like, messing with time and all of that nonsense, you know? I just didn't think that that would be an issue. Like, you could even say, well, yeah, but it would take time to kill an infinite number of Goku Blacks, but when you surpass time itself, what does that even mean? So, you know? And then they mentioned, like, the difference in strength between, like, you know, Goku Black and the universes and whatnot, and then, like, him surviving the punch with the White Dwarf Star equivalent, you know? But, I don't feel like that's the upper limit of the strength. I don't think that an infinite mass punch, it's infinite mass! How is the upper limit of its strength a dwarf star? I don't get that. I'm not a science guy, But that doesn't make sense to me if we're talking infinite mass. If you want to have a white dwarf star powered punch, then maybe white dwarf star mass. That makes more sense to me. Not infinite. And I don't even think that that's just the name of the punch. Like, isn't it actually because you're going at like infinite speed, therefore infinite mass? I thought that was the point of it. But then too, if we're going to talk about things that I didn't even take into consideration, like, I didn't even think about the fact that he could take Goku Black's ring and all of that time nonsense would be done. In part because I didn't know that it was actually specifically tied to that ring and exclusive to that ring, and Goku Black needed that ring, you know? But that just makes it even easier, because Reverse Flash, all of his stuff is just inherent to himself because of what the Flash did, you know, to make him into that paradox kind of thing. And so when it's just, that's who he is, and then Goku Black is, that's who he is with an accessory, that's very different, you know? It's very different. So I'm not upset by the, you know, the results of this fight at all. It makes sense to me. I think they were very generous with Goku Black, just from what I was able to understand of the two characters. So I am very pleased with this fight in that regard. And I'm happy to say that I'm still pleased with the fight in other regards. So you all might enjoy the fact that I actually liked this track, the music that played during this fight. I actually thought that it was fitting. This probably just goes to show my taste in music. But, you know, again, I want to point out with other episodes where I talked about the music and was like, I didn't really think it was appropriate. It's not that I disliked the music itself. I just didn't think that it was appropriate for the fight. Like, it just didn't seem to fit the battle. And, you know, it might have been because they were referencing, like, you know, the original Dragon Ball track, like that kind of thing, you know, in other fights, like Beerus versus Broly, for instance, you know. Beerus versus Broly. I mean Broly versus Hulk, sorry. Broly versus Hulk. But I don't know. I just didn't feel them, right? And I just try to be honest about it. If I don't feel something, I just say I don't feel it. But this one, I liked it. And I thought that it was fitting. In part because, like, one, you know, it was very like heavy rock and roll, and that fit for all of the carnage that we're seeing on screen. But there was still, it allowed for levity, you know, like it wasn't a completely serious, like, oh, these are dark days kind of, you know, it didn't have that kind of somber tone to it. And the fight itself, it didn't either. Like, again, like, ridiculous carnage is happening, like, where Reverse Flash just at the beginning needs to borrow that guy and then just uses him as a meat shield, unnecessarily, I might add. And all of these people dying, you know, just, blood everywhere. It didn't take itself seriously. There were a lot of laughs in the episode. I really enjoyed it. The animation I thought was great. The references were fun. Yeah, I thought it was a very enjoyable death battle. And even if, because I still have the opinion that Goku Black, like, really didn't stand much of a chance, you know? He was just so underwhelming in comparison to Reverse Flash. Because again, Goku Black, amazingly powerful, and apparently very caught up in a twisted paradox sort of thing. But Reverse Flash, just the comparison. So just even though I didn't think that he stood a chance, they still made the fight, you know, a lot of fun, a lot of good back and forth. Like the combat was still there and was still enjoyable. So yeah, I really liked this episode. So let me know what you all thought about this episode in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. Then next time we will be watching Kool-Aid Man versus Macho Man, or Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man. It's one of those two. Thank you all again for watching. With that, we're calling it here. So have a good one, everybody.